Hey, we're Ben and MP, and 2.5 years ago we bought this sinking ship and practically built it from the keel upwards thanks to an amazing team of shipwrights. It's almost time to paint it, but we've got a few more things that we need to address first. Inside the boat, there's going to be a lot of progress as well. In order for us to be able to live off-grid, we're going to have to work on some electrics, and that's what we're going to talk about and even kind of start in this episode. So join us today as we have fun making our sailboat ready to set sail finally. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our journey. Press the like button if you like the video. We are going to start working on the hull to really get it finished. I think at least someone has to be working on the hull, making it better and better and better and better until the paint arrives, where we just paint over it. But for now, I don't want the covering board to be sanded after we paint, because that's going to ruin the paint. So I want the covering board to be sanded now and varnished so that later when we paint, we're not going to ruin the paint. And we'll see how that goes.
There once was a ship that put to sea, and the name of that ship was the Billy O.T. The winds blew harder, bow dip down, blow me bully boys blow. Soon may the weatherman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. She had not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore we'd take that whale in tow. Soon may the weatherman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Da 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 da.
Hi there! If you thought we were gonna show furniture again, you're wrong. We're gonna work with electrics today. What we're gonna add to the boat today is something that I'm very keen about. In Portuguese we call it courtesy lights. I really hope that makes sense in English too. Which is the light that shows all the furniture and around, so you don't kick your toes when it's dark. It can show you the way where to go without having to turn the big lights on. So we're gonna use these normal profiles that go in a corner with a LED taping here, and then just a diffuser on top, and I think it's gonna look very cool. So I'm gonna start putting it in place.
All this work, and they just come here and drill holes through everything. The plan is it has to go from here to here and then to here again, except we're not going to have it go around the corners. So instead of going around, it's going to go inside and out again, and that's what these little holes are for. There. So it continues here. Cool. And then there. Very cool. I'm excited to see how this looks. We had many plans and we started building towards these interior plans of the boat. You've probably seen most of the plans as well, and you've seen what we've been building. However, as we're building the boat, we're really seeing what we're liking and what we're not liking. We're finding lots of inspiration from building it and also from other boats. And as we're going along, we're really discovering what we like. So we usually end up in the scrap pile and we say, hey, how about this? And you're gonna see now how an initial idea of a regular plank covering the deck beams that were visible from the rooms and so on are going to become something completely different and functional. I'm here in the forward port room, which is mine and MP's, one with the bathroom or the head built into it. And I don't know if you can tell here, but a huge difference has been made. Over here you can see there's like lots of these wooden slats to kind of create a piece of furniture. However, we've decided now to do it differently. For now, it's going to be storage underneath to put boxes, big stuff. We can make divisions later when we know what we're going to put there. But the top bit over here is going to be a very, very cool little storage area that's going to look very boaty, hopefully. And MP's got a very cool idea of how to make it look fun.
We're going to cut off these parts so we can still use this space we have here, but without having the beams showing. So it's gonna be something like this, hiding the beams with these beautiful half rounds that we made. A very cool thing about this process is that we wanted to imagine how it was gonna look. So I just took a photo of the bedroom with Adjuston here, got the iPad and started sketching up so we could visualize what we had in mind and actually see if it was gonna look nice. I cannot take the credit for this idea alone because yes, I suggested the half rounds, but the idea of cutting this out and having storage was Adilson's, so I think he was a lot more clever than me. So yeah, he takes the credit this time. Well, we were a good team, but yeah, thanks to him, it's gonna be a lot better.
Embaixo agora. Olha lá, passou embaixo agora. Sombra.
So in our bedroom over here, this is already done, but what makes it so different from the other room? That here, we don't have the tall wardrobe because we will have it there. So that's why this was just a straight line with some shelves. The other room has the tall wardrobe at the end, so he had to do a little shape. And instead of making it all square, the idea is to make it round because it's a bedroom. You want things to flow, you don't want to feel trapped in a cage or something like that. So that's why we have this idea of having more a round shape, which is driving Adjuston a bit insane. But he bought the idea, he likes it, and he's amazing, so he's trying his best there. It's gonna work.
See how the mainsail set. Out for the captain ashore. Let me go home. Let me go home. I want to go. I wanna go home. Why don't you let me go? Well, love feels so great. I wanna go home. I want to go. Well, the poor cook, he caught me fits. Throw away all of my goods. And he took and he ate up all of my clothes. Let me go home. I wanna go home. Why don't you let me go? This is the worst way to I wanna go home, I want to go. Now I start to jump these stairs, see how the mainsail sets. Call for the captain ashore, let me go home, let me go home, let me go home. I wanna go home. Why don't you let me go? Well, I feel so break up.
One thing that I would like to mention about these changes in the interior design is that you guys seen the 3D images we have of our project. It is a beautiful interior, but from the beginning, Ben and I were not feeling it. It was not representing us. We wanted something more colorful and fun and joyful, and we felt that everything was very classy and elegant. So we decided to change some stuff on the interior. That's why now we have these open bays, we have the half rounds there. We're gonna add some color in the bedrooms, we're gonna paint and make it fun. We already came up with some ideas, nothing that it's done yet. But you're gonna see that our interior, from that image that you might be picturing from the 3D project, at the end it's not gonna be that similar because we're changing, but that's not something bad, it's something we're actually very excited about. One thing that's been keeping us from doing all the electrics of the boat is that the batteries and all the components haven't arrived yet. So we started putting wires through the walls, but we're not too focused on finishing that because we're missing a lot of things that are super important for electrics, and those things might change how things happen. But what we did was put in the wires, we showed you that before, and then we installed we call it font in Portuguese, I really don't know the name in English. We plug it in the 220 and it pretends that it's 24 volts, so we can pretend that's a battery and we can play around. We've been doing that so we can test our lights and to see if the connections we made with the switches are working. We're playing with that so we can start advancing a bit until those other parts arrive. So what we're gonna do now is install the courtesy lights around all the furniture, and I cannot wait to see how that's gonna look because I think it's gonna be a very, very nice touch. My dad is kind enough to be doing the tough bit of lying down on the ground to do this, but he doesn't have nails, so he needs me for this bit. One side is done. All that's left to do now is, well, actually two things. One, test it out, which I cannot wait, and second, put the profile bit that will diffuse the light. Yeah, the thing that protects it and goes there. But I'm not that keen about that second part. I just really want to test it. Yeah! Of course, the ultimate test is gonna be when it's dark, but I couldn't wait. I'm so happy with this. I think it's looking so nice. Now, yeah, we have to stay one day until it gets dark and test this light. Actually, test all the lights. That's gonna be very fun. But so far, I'm very happy.
You might have seen MP doing all the hard work with her dad and Rafa doing all the hard work, but I get the credit to show you what it actually looks like. This bit is the first bit, which is actually going to be behind or underneath the dining room table. I think it looks absolutely amazing. For now it's just a little test connection, all the wires are visible and stuff. But how cool is that? It looks a lot brighter on this screen than it is in real life. It's not blinding at all, so at night we can even use it while navigating. And it's all hidden, which is super cool. Once we clean it all up a bit and Make sure none of these floorboards are loose, it's going to look even better. However, we're going to do one more test, and that is, a while ago, this is all the stuff that's been happening. We've got these lights from bacon sales, and we're gonna put the first one in place here. Now for the moment of truth. Not right. Off, right. This is one of the conduits that we made. It's not very visible to you right now. If I could shine a light on it, hang on. Any better? Anyway, it's getting very dark now, which is why we're also installing the lights, but very cool. A little test of the wooden conduit, which will show you the daylight, and also the light. You guys might be thinking, why on earth are they doing that now when they don't even have the hull painted, the through holes? There's a million things to do before installing LED courtesy lights in the interior. Now, the main reason is fun. It's really fun building a boat, don't get me wrong. However, we get caught in these normal steps and we like to kind of do something crazy like this courtesy lighting. It's definitely not KIS, KISS, keep it simple. However, it's KIF, keep it fun. So we sometimes take a break from the ballast, the furniture, the varnishing, the engine work, and work on something like this, and it really lifts up our spirits. Especially once we see that these LED strips are lighting up the Purple Heart flooring, the Purple Heart piece that we added around the flooring. So I hope you understand why we do this type of things. It's just really fun and relieving to have a really small, quick project finished fast. That's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. As you can see, we're making a lot of changes to the interior. We really hope you enjoy this. We're really looking forward to seeing all these finished and varnished, and we've got loads more ideas coming for the galley, the bow locker, engine room, storage, and some really cool ideas that we just can't wait to get on video. More importantly, thank you David, Joseph, Greg, Jens, and Dave for giving us a super thanks, and thank you Giza for joining us on Patron. We hope you like it there, and it means a lot to us that you guys are doing this. See you guys next week.